Yeousch!
Now I know for a fact before many of you have even watched this video you're going to make a couple of judgments on me, and that's fine, that's fair enough. I totally understand that. I'm at that point in my air quotes YouTube career where people are going to, I guess, throw the accusations down and prejudge and have opinions about every video that I do, whether it agrees with them or not. But one thing I want to make clear, the reason I'm doing this video is not because I want to jump on the whole bandwagon of hate and let's get subs, let's get views, because the chances are from me doing this video, I'm probably going to lose a number of subs, because a lot of my subs may be subscribed to Woody's Gamertag and really appreciate the information that he hands out, and think that he is a good role model in the sexual world and in the advice world. But I want to do this video because for me, what has come to light in the last 24 hours is of a personal level, and not just to me, but I can guarantee to many of my subscribers, because I know for a fact many of my subscribers are in fact adults, and these adults have children, such as me. And when you have children and you have a family, you do everything in your power to protect them and to also give them the best advice that they need on an appropriate level and sometimes on an inappropriate level. It has to be done. That's your role as a parent. Now sometimes that option isn't available to you, or maybe you don't have the right advice. So what happens is when you're going through your education at school, you will get that advice from an appointed person, a sexual health advisor. They're not just there to preach about safe sex, although that's their primary target. They want to help people get through their sexual life as they're growing up and maturing as comfortably and without as much embarrassment as possible. Now the thing is with these people who are paid professionals who do come to a school to give that kind of advice is that they have degrees, they have qualifications and they have credentials to back up their claims, to back up the information that they give. They haven't just read this out of some book or watched some porno film or just taken this from their own personal experiences. These are the kind of nuggets of information that can be handed down to people or young or youth or minors in a safe and controlled environment with the assistance and supervision of a teacher under a government controlled scheme, i.e. these people will have had to have been vetted, because if people go out and give sexual health advice or anything that's related with children, be it a teacher's job or a lollipop man or a crossing man, whatever you call it, wherever you're from, all these people have to go through a vetting scheme to make sure that they're safe to work with children and give that advice and be in the close proximity to any child of a certain age. Once that legislation has been passed, then they can do their job. Woody's fucking gamertag has not got any of these credentials, he has not got any of these qualifications, and I'm pretty damn sure it's a safe bet that he has not been passed by any government legislation to say that he can give advice to younger children or youth or minors. Now for those of you who are confused, I'm going to enlighten you with what I'm talking about if you've made it this far.
Here's the deal. When you have oral sex and later someday when you have actual sex and, you know, as you're even beyond sex and you're just dealing with like relationship issues, open communication is important. And I think you need to just sort of say like, you know, hey babe, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, it's all good. With oral sex, here's the way that you do this, girls, if you're watching, maybe you can have her watch my video. Your upper lip curls around and goes under your teeth, right? Like you were pretending you were a grandmother with no teeth at all. Your upper lip, it curls down and like you're talking like this, right? So that's what your upper lip does, and it stops you from getting teeth on the guy's junk. Your tongue goes in front of your lower teeth. So that's pretty much the toothless blowjob that everybody desires, right? And then of course you go up and down and suck.
Now I'm going to make a safe bet. To the younger generation of my listeners, or to the people who have made it upon this video by any chance, you would listen to that and think, what's wrong with that? Woody's giving out valuable advice to people like us who need it. We need that advice. We can't turn around and ask mum and dad these questions. We need to ask somebody like Woody because we look up to him, because apparently...
And all of it, know Woody the sex god, I'm sure you know how to fix this. I do.
Well, I'm going to flip this on its head, and I'm going to tell you guys something from an adult's point of view. And I'm pretty damn sure that many people who are adults of my generation or a younger generation, but people who have children and do their best in everyday life to protect them and put them on the right path of life, will find that what he has said and what he has done in this video to be totally disagreeable. And that is that you do not talk to other people's children that you don't know about how to suck a fucking dick. Now if this point still hasn't sunk in and you're going to turn around to me and say, no, I don't accept this is wrong. He's already given that advice to somebody who's experienced that already, and they did ask him the question. He's only answering the question. Fair enough, yes he was asked the question. But there's a choice, you have choices in life. And Woody's gamertag, the unexceptional gamer, had that choice not to answer that question. What he could have said was, I respect your question, thank you very much for taking the time to write this letter. Unfortunately my hands are tied because I cannot give you this information or advice because you're a minor, and I am a 40-something man, and to hand over this information over the internet on a personal level and spreading it to many others may be deemed as grooming in some people's eyes. It's fucking wrong, you don't do it. Still not convinced? Okay. Let's say for the sake of argument that Woody's gamertag, the unexceptional gamer, is taking his dog for a walk in his local park. As he's walking along, he's texting on his phone. All of a sudden this young girl, a minor, 14, 15, 12, 13, whatever, comes over and says, oh my god, you're Woody's gamertag, I recognise you off YouTube, how are you doing, I love your videos, you're great, you're a sex god. She then proceeds to turn round and ask him a question very boldly. Listen Woody, I've been having some problems with my boyfriend and I don't think I'm pleasuring him sexually. Can you give me some advice and some pointers on how to do this? No problem. What you want to do is when you take the penis, put it inside of your mouth, curl your top lip over your teeth and put your tongue over your lower bottom teeth. Then you put your mouth over the penis and suck. Holy fucking shit! At what stage do you actually believe that the girl in question's parents, may they get hold of that information that was passed down to them, would take it upon themselves to find and hunt down Woody's gamertag, the unexceptional gamer, cut off his testicles and turn him into a fucking eunuch? It may be over a computer screen, but it is exactly the same thing. If the girl went home and told her parents we had a sex education in class today, we actually learned how to do safe sex and we put a condom on top of a banana, the parents might recoil in horror at the very thought of their daughter doing such things, but you know what? They're getting the right kind of advice. Now listen, I understand that Woody's gamertag has this pedestal, okay? He has these 1.2 million subscribers, the big pedestal of YouTube, and it's all gone to his head, and he lives in this flower fairyland where he can hand over this advice to all these young people and it makes him feel good. Maybe. I don't know. Part of me almost still thinks that letter was written to himself by himself. Particularly when you hear things in there like, oh, you're a sex god. Oh my god. It's like writing a goddamn Valentine's letter to yourself and then showing it to your friends. It really is. But when you have that pedestal and you feel the need to give advice to people, you do the correct kind of advice. Now look at me. I did a video talking about my steroid abuse. Okay? Once upon a time I went through a phase of hammering some serious steroids into my body. Now what I actually did, because I wanted to share my experiences with people and probably because I couldn't think of a video to talk about anything about, was I explained to people, look, steroids, the ugly truth, the badness of steroids is that they are an absolute evil in a syringe. Don't do them because they change your personality, they can break up your relationships, they can break up your family, and they can break the fuck out of your body. They can alter your mind and turn you into a complete and utter monster, and it can stay like that, like mine does, because I have a high temperament, and I have no patience. So my kind of advice was sharing with people, if you're thinking about doing this, don't do it, please. I could do one talking about my drug abuse. I went through years hammering drugs into my body. I'm really not proud of it. It wasn't a good time in my life. But if I was going to do that kind of video, I would say to people, here's the dangers of drugs. This is what it's done to me. I've got a short-term memory. I can't remember people's names when I'm told them. I forget when I'm going into rooms what I went in there for. I lost part of the septum inside of my nose. The incorrect kind of information to give to people would be to say, hey, what's going on guys? Now we're going to talk about cocaine abuse. Now what you need to do is get a £20 note and roll it up into a very tight but not too tight a note. Woody's gamertag should know fucking better, and he has taken this a bridge too far and he needs to be dealt with. Whether it be by IGN and they remove his partnership or they take down that video, something needs to be done. Dads, mums, can you see where I'm coming from? Can you understand the point I'm trying to get across? Children, you probably won't. But one day when you have children of your own, you will. Because the scary thing is the internet will only get worse and worse and worse. And if this man can speak about these kind of issues now and give this kind of advice, let's say in 8 years' time when my daughter eventually reaches her teens and she goes onto the internet and finds Woody's gamertag giving advice like, hey guys, how's it going now? I've had a letter from Elijah, and Elijah asks, Dear Woody, I want to reach the ultimate dizzy heights of a sexual orgasm, but I'm finding that masturbation on itself just isn't cutting it for me. What can I do to really enhance this, as I've been actually thinking about tying a belt around my throat and putting an orange in my mouth and attaching aforementioned belt to door and choking. How do you recommend I go about doing this in the safest possible way? Well, thank you for your letter, Elijah. Now what you need to do is make sure you tighten the belt, but not too tight. That's where the internet is going. That's why this needs to be fucking stopped pronto. I am a parent, I am pissed. Apocalypse done.